we have a new Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, who endured 15 votes to get there. So we knew that McCarthy was going to be the Speaker because there was no other viable candidate, and about 200 Republicans wanted him in that office, but 20 held out. Very conservative, most of them. And it wasn't a bad thing that they dissented, but at the end, it devolved into something not good. And that is the subject of the Talking Points memo. So I'm not a party guy, y'all know that. I don't follow the inner mechanisms of the Democrats and the Republicans. What they do doesn't concern me unless it hurts or helps you. And in order for that to happen, it has to surface into legislation or hearings. And then I get involved. But do I follow Kevin McCarthy's career? No. Now, Pelosi was a different animal, all right, because she was hurting, in my opinion, the country. And so I did follow her. But generally speaking, I'm not real interested in the inner workings of either party. But here we had a transition from Democrat House, Pelosi, to a Republican House by your vote. And we wanted to see how that transition went down, and we did. And at the end, it was bad. So there were some good things that came out of it. So the 20 dissenters, they got some concessions from McCarthy. And the concessions were that the way that bills introduced by the Speaker is going to be different. 72-hour notice, not one of these big drops. And most legislation the House puts forth will be very clear and concise, not these humongous omnibus bills. That's a good concession, okay? That one congressperson can file for McCarthy to be replaced. That could lead to chaos. I don't see it ever happening, but I'm not going to argue with it. And term limit vote. Now, term limits are never going to happen. The Senate's never going to do that. But the vote is fine. It's significant because it's symbolic. Most Americans, including me, want term limits. These people are in there far too long. Mitch McConnell should have been, dropped in the pond years ago. But he's there ad infinitum. Now, the two villains, if you will, because they're both going to get hurt, are Lauren Boebert from Colorado and Matt Gaetz from Florida. Now, Lauren Boebert just won by like 250 votes, and she's going to lose next time around. Gaetz, I don't think he'll lose. He's in a very conservative Florida Panhandle district, but believe me when I tell you that their fellow Republicans in the House and elsewhere do not have a good opinion of these two. Why? Back to me, please. Because they were gloating. It was midnight on Friday, and it was a fait accompli already, right, that McCarthy would be the Speaker, and these two held out, and they didn't do it with any dignity. There was almost a fist fight between Congressman Rogers of Alabama and Gaetz, because everybody knew they were grandstanding it. They were doing this for their own fame. They had gotten the concessions that they wanted. And there was also a lot of back dealing I didn't tell you about people putting certain people on committees and all of that. It's called horse trading. Always happens, okay? But Gaetz and Boebert, beyond the pale. And it's just coming from a guy who doesn't care. But I went, these two, it's too much. So politics they're going to remember that. They being the fellow House Republicans and the people in the district. You're going to remember. So they may think, Boebert and Gaetz, that they were, victorious here. No. You mark my words.
Bill O'Reilly is back on TV and only on The First. No Spin News, every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on The First.